All right, welcome to this training section that's going to be talking about setting up the specific booking calendar of the consultation calendar. Now, this is going to be one of those specific booking calendars that we do recommend everyone set up. So there are some that are like, you know what, this might be optional, but this specifically one is going to be one that is very important to actually go ahead and get set up. So that way you can make sure that you are booking consultation calls, you can book, sales calls, you can book these kinds of things. This is this booking calendar's purpose that is going to be extremely helpful for you. Again, some of the benefits of having a booking calendar specific to this is so that way, as your business grows, you're not spending admin time having to go back and forth with a client. You have a streamlined booking calendar for somebody to go ahead and book on your calendar. So that's what is allowed with these schedulers and these auto schedulers. That's why it's so helpful and beneficial to have these. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the actual step-by-step for this. What we are going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and go over to settings. And then we are going to go over to calendars inside of our Client Kit account. Okay. And remember, you do want to make sure that you are using the Google Chrome profile for your business. And then you can have Client Kit bookmarked on there. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go over to calendars here and we're going to go ahead and create a calendar. Okay. And then just like we talked about before in the general overview, we are going to recommend that you do go ahead and use the round robin calendar here. And then once you have that, what you are going to go ahead and do is we would recommend that you go ahead and name it one of these names, right? So one-on-one consultation, game plan session, strategy session. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and use Body Forge strategy session. Okay. And then the team members is going to be myself over here. It's going to say John Doe. Over here, we're going to go ahead and put, let's say Body Forge, let's do strategy. Let's just do SS maybe. That could be the slug there. Now, in terms of the actual detailed breakdown, what we are going to do is we're going to go over to advanced settings. And then one by one, we are going to go ahead and do this together over here. Okay. Now, the meeting invite title over here, you do want to go ahead and put the meeting invite title. So Body Forge strategy session. We like to do that so that way it shows up in our Google Calendar very, very easily, very nicely on there. Okay. Next up, we are going to go to availability. Again, we're going to go ahead and leave these pretty open, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sure, that's perfectly fine. That now, unless you're doing calls a little bit later, so you might want to go ahead and actually, make this a little bit wider if you are going to go ahead and do that as well. Recurring meeting. This is not going to be a recurring meeting. Meeting interval. Now, for the meeting interval, we are going to go ahead and actually set this at 45 minutes, and then the slot interval. Again, it's all located in the guide. So if you ever have any questions as to what happened in the training, you can reference the guide as well. So the slot duration, 45 minutes, slot interval is 1 hour. So in this case, slot and meeting, I believe they've gone ahead and changed the names. That's what software companies do. They change these around. So the interval here is going to be for 1 hour. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set this at 1 hour right over here. And then this is going to be set for 45 minutes. Okay, beautiful. Now the minimum scheduling notice we're going to have is going to be 4 hours minimum. And then the date range is going to be 3 days. So we're going to put 3 days right there. And then what we're going to do is none, 1, and then buffer time. We don't need to have anything there, right? We can then go ahead and click save from there. Now, one thing I did not mention in the video, but that was inside of the guide that's going to be very important is when you go over to meeting details, over here where the meeting location is, this is going to be where in the Google Calendar invite, this is where the actual meeting is going to happen. Okay, so you can go ahead and set this if you want this to happen on Zoom, Google Meet, phone, full address. That's going to be available for you. So again, it's up to you to decide where that's going to be. We're just showing you the gist of how all of this is going to work. Okay, so we went over availability, forms and payments. Let's go through this one by one. Okay, so selecting the form here, you're going to go ahead and leave that just as it is. The consent form, you can go ahead and actually turn that off. So that's not an issue there. You can turn that off there. And then from there, the confirmation page, you can go ahead and actually set that either to redirect URL or default. Now, in terms of the actual default confirmation page, we would recommend inside of the actual guide, we do have a message here that is very helpful instead of the default one that is on here. So it's going to be, thank you for scheduling your appointment. We look forward to speaking with you. Our team will be contacting you shortly to confirm your appointment. If that is relevant to you, you can go ahead and use that there. And then over here, auto confirm new calendar meetings. We're going to go ahead and leave that on as well. From there, we go ahead and click on save. That's now going to take us over to the next page. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to go ahead and turn everything off except for allow Google Calendar to send invitation. We want to make sure that that is turned on. And then we are going to go ahead and allow rescheduling, but we are going to go ahead and not allow cancellation. Okay. And then you'll see one of the cool things is that if we allow cancellation, it goes ahead and puts that cancellation link in the description. So that way it's available not only for us, but also for the client. But in this case, we are going to go ahead and not allow cancellation. So they do end up having to reach out to us if they want to cancel. So we can make sure that we are helping them and asking them, hey, why did you decide to cancel and all of that, right? So that's what we're going to go ahead and do over here. From there, we're going to go ahead and click on save. We are then going to go over here to customizations. Now here you can actually go ahead and change the actual widget. So if I go to preview widget, you'll see this is what it looks like. It's up to you if you want to go ahead and make some customization changes. We typically just go ahead and leave it pretty default. But again, it's completely up to you if you would like to go ahead and make any changes for that, okay? Now we're gonna go ahead and hit save. And then what's gonna happen here is that we do obviously have, just like we talked about in some of the other training sections, on how you can actually book appointments. So obviously now with this strategy session, you could go into here and go share and then do a scheduling link, permanent link right there. But what we're gonna go ahead and do is I wanna go ahead and walk you through, again, planting seeds, opening doors in your mind around how you can do a contact form redirect. Now, let me go ahead and walk you through exactly what this looks like. What you could do is you could go ahead and grab the permanent link here. Okay, so I'm going to share, grab the permanent link just like that. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this tab here because I want to keep this just in case I need this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to the form. So check this out. This is something new that maybe you haven't learned as a skill yet. I'm going to go over to sites. I'm going to go over to forms, and I'm going to go ahead and find the main website contact form right here, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the settings on this main contact website form. So that way, when somebody actually submits this form, right? So on submit, instead of it giving them a message right over here, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see this right a little bit better, right? So right over here, what I did was I went over the form, I clicked on settings, I clicked on submit. Right over here, right now it's set as giving them a message, right? Instead of that, I'm going to say, you know what? I want you to open a URL once they submit this form. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste that permanent URL right over here. Now, if you don't know what I did, Command V is the hotkey keyboard shortcut for pasting, or Control V on a Windows, okay? Or you can just go ahead and paste just like that as well, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right, now I'm going to duplicate this tab as well, just in case I need to come back. And I'm going to go ahead and test this to make sure that it is in fact working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to our website. So I'm going to go over to sites, go over to our website. I got our website right over here. I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'm going to preview link. And what I'm going to do is I like to look at this in an incognito window. So I'm going to go ahead and open an incognito window just like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. Let's say, for example, I have my get started, right? So this is the form that is the main website contact form. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to head to, John Doe, and then just go ahead and enter in a phone number here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and enter in an email address there. Cool. We got our consent over here. Awesome. Complete and send. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, if this works properly. So in that case, it looks like it did not work for us. For some reason, it shoot me back over here to the main screen. So what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and save this. Let me go ahead and make sure that it is in fact properly integrated, because sometimes it might not be. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and copy the form link, and let me test this a different way, and then we'll come back and test it on the main website. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and this is just the raw form right here, right? Just straight up the form. And so we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll go ahead and enter in the email address over here. So johndoe@gmail.com. Now, let's see if it actually works now. If I hit next step, boom. Okay, cool. So it does work when it is just the calendar by itself. Okay, cool. So for some reason, it didn't work when it was on the actual website. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try this one more time and see if that actually changes now, right? Because I went ahead and clicked integrate. I also went ahead and hit save over here. And if it doesn't work, then we'll have to do some troubleshooting to see what might actually be going on. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and try, it's the same form everywhere, right? So let's go ahead and try this on over here. So let's do John Doe, do a phone number right here. And then we're going to do johndoe@gmail.com. And then let's see, complete and send. And let's see if it actually does anything. Okay, so it doesn't look like it's working. Now, this is where sometimes it gets frustrating. You're like, why isn't it working? So what we might have to do is we might have to go into the actual website editor and see, hey, why is it not actually working properly? And what that might actually be is we might just have to reintegrate the form here. So we go over to the pop-up. This is the pop-up right here, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete the form. I'm going to go ahead and then re-add the form right over here. We're going to go to forms right here. I'm going to go ahead and select, this is going to be the main website contact form. Give it a second to populate. There we go. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit save, update SEO metadata. I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. And then what I'm going to do is once that is reintegrated, I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page over here in my incognito window. And you'll see that that is showing up once again here. And this time we're going to go ahead and try this once again, because sometimes it just needs a refresh when you make such a big change like that, because it is a pretty big change for the form to like literally go to a different place. So sometimes you just have to reintegrate it. And then if I hit next step now, There we go. Look at that. It is working now. So I just wanted to show you how you can actually troubleshoot that way. It does actually go ahead and forward over to the permanent link that we went ahead and set it up. And so again, this is how you can now kind of understand how the tools are on the table. We've unlocked many doors in your mind as to, hey, how can you mix and match all of this and how all of this can actually come together to be something that is an extremely powerful tool for your business to be able to then integrate this on your website, be able to send this in different places. So it's very, 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 very powerful. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been this specific training on actually going ahead and getting the strategy session or the consultation calendar, booking calendar set up. Again, whether you decide to set it up exactly like this is completely up to you. We just wanted to go ahead and walk you through potential ways that you could go ahead and get it set up and then also have the form redirect on there. So that has been this specific training section on the consultation calendar. If you do have any questions, if you come up with any amazing insights, any changes, any suggestions that you have, make sure you are dropping them in the community, because the community is the living, breathing place where all of the latest learnings are happening. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and catch you in the next training section.